Poor Joey Ryan.
Now ring the bell. And he closes his eyes. That was. I think I
was like Bubba Ray tonight on Raw.
Now you. Oh yeah, it was.
Now the match is done.
You're right.
Now we won.
Absolutely. I heard Lillian was getting some heat with some guy as well.
Oh really?
Yeah. Apparently, someone was like, someone knew. Apparently, a stagehand wasn't aware that Lillian, I guess, is permitted to do silly stuff.
Oh.
So he like banged on the ring and like tried to get her attention, and she just went off on him.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess when you're with the company for long enough, you can just do whatever you want. As long as they can make fun of you in the commentary.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like Rock, for example. He can just do whatever he wants. Byron can't do whatever he wants. He's not on that level yet. But he just gets made fun of on commentary anyway. A lot. Every episode. Multiple times per episode.
Yeah.
Hello again, everybody. Mike and E once again. Talking about wrestling. Talking about Mania. He saw Shamajay. And he had a tremendous match.
That was a match to remember for sure.
It was absolutely a match to remember. Now that we've been back watching the WWE for about a year and a half now, quickly tell me, like,
this is our first Mania coverage, baby.
Yes, it is.
Baby!
And we're going to do a good job, I promise.
Hopefully.
We're going to do
fingers crossed.
Yes, we'll do a better job next year. But for
best in the world.
The best in the world. Maybe not as good as Chris Jericho, who somehow went over at Mania. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. First question for you, though, E. Now that we've been watching for about a year and a half, quickly tell me some matches that come to mind as being extremely memorable.
Extremely memorable. Well, first off, I've mentioned it quite a few times, but that ladders match at TLC, phenomenal.
Yep, for sure.
Other good standout matches? There's so many. I'm trying to think of like one in particular. Obviously Brock and Taker, but that's like...
Which one?
They're Hell in a Cell.
Oh, the final one?
Yeah, the final one.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a very memorable match for sure. The Cena versus KO series were really good matches.
I thought Cena versus Rusev was also pretty good too.
Yeah, it was at last year's Mania. That was actually a really good match. I believe that was where they had the Russian chain match, right?
Yeah, it was.
That wasn't bad at all.
They need to introduce the American Knife match.
I know. We've been talking about it in the program for quite some time.
That sounds like it could fly in CZW.
We didn't see it at Texas WrestleMania. Maybe next year in crazy Florida we'll see it.
Maybe some crazy Florida men are going to put on their own knife match.
It's consistent with the Wyatt's kayfabe.
Yeah. Could happen. Attitude Era.
And they've been made to do much stupider things, so
true.
Why not? Another match that stands out for me being extremely memorable was last year when Finn Balor won the NXT title against Kevin Owens in Japan, wearing the Japanese demon paint.
Yes, that was an incredible match.
Asuka versus Emma from last year.
Oh yeah, that was really good too. I feel like Emma's been on a roll since then. Like she looked really good in that match, and she's been looking better and better.
I strongly agree. I think now that Dana, it's no secret she has an injury and hasn't been able to wrestle very much. With that being the case, I think Emma is probably NXT's top female heel, just purely from a skill perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a feeling that Nia Jax is going to become just like Baron Corbin, that eventually she's going to become, a really good, big bruiser heel.
Devastating.
A devastating heel, exactly my point. But for now, working with Eva Marie is completely fine, I think, for her.
Yeah, I think it's where she should be right now, because it's drawing more heat on her. I mean, might not be for the best of reasons, but I think it's good.
Nia isn't getting any you can't wrestle chance.
No, definitely not, because she can.
Sure can. So talking about the NXT show, this was a show top to bottom that was unforgettable in just every regard. Every match was really good. Mm-hmm. They were all full of twists and turns. The outcomes, whether we liked them or not, I was personally very excited with every single finish.
Yeah, I was really happy with every outcome. in every finish.
I was even watching the playback of Austin Aries versus Corbin, and even that was a really good match.
Yeah, it was. Great debut. And Baron Corbin definitely, he definitely didn't get buried because he went on to do some pretty phenomenal things the next night.
He certainly did. Next 2 nights, actually.
Yeah.
So I guess he just did the favors on the way out. Now, we've talked about this before in the program. NXT was becoming almost a little bit too overburdened with talent.
Yeah.
But now I feel like they've just trimmed the numbers just right.
Yeah, I feel like you're right.
Skipping ahead a little bit, because we're talking about NXT, Apollo Crews made his WWE main roster debut last night on Raw in a match against Dolph Ziggler. Excuse me, no.
Yes, Prince Pretty.
In a match against Prince Pitty. It was a different NXT star who debuted against Dolph Ziggler last night, but we'll get to that. Apollo Crews in his match has established that he's ready for the main roster, and we're going to be seeing them there every week, I have a feeling. Now that he's out of NXT, and the other superstar who debut against Dolph Ziggler was Baron Corbin. Now that he's also out of NXT, who do you foresee, I should say, becoming the top players for the NXT roster, just for the men? I think the female roster is kind of well established.
Top players for men? Well, it's tough to say because I feel like, with all of the people who are moving towards the main roster now, they've mostly had the spotlight in NXT, so right. I'm sure there's a lot of people that we don't really know too much about that we might get to see a lot more of.
What do you suppose those No Way Jose things were?
I have no idea, but
I'm going to make a prediction right here in the program. I might be dead wrong, but I have a feeling it's a reference to the upcoming debut of NXT star who's currently known as Levis Valenzuela. Have you heard of him before?
No, I haven't.
I'm not exactly sure what his gimmick is. He seems to honestly be, like, if I had to describe him to, he's like a happy, jolly Bray Wyatt.
Oh, okay.
Like, he wears similar kind of like bright colors and the white pants and a hat, but he's all about like dancing and being happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's basically Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas put together, like their characters.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. And you don't even see it. That's kind of the impression I get. He's a big, tough guy. I have a feeling that's what it's referenced to. I could be dead wrong. Who knows who it'll be, but for now I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. Maybe he'll come up and become a top player for the NXT brand.
Seems like Johnny Gargano is coming up too.
Yes, he is, and I'm very happy about that. Him and Tommy Ciampa.
Mm-hmm.
They're just perfect fits for NXT.
Of course.
Neither of them have had a bad match yet.
No, not one.
And they're also stars we're going to be seeing undoubtedly in upcoming cruiserweight series that WWE is going to be hosting this summer. We're going to have a lot to talk about that.
I'm excited for that.
Oh, I'm extremely excited. We have a ton to talk about in regards to that as the details develop. For now, we only know of a handful of stars. Did you hear the rumors that King Cuerno had been courted?
Really?
Yeah, he had been asked to do it, but he couldn't for contractual reasons.
Oh, dang, that would have been really good.
I think it's really cool that of all of Lucha Underground stars, that's who WWE likes the most.
Yeah, I mean, he is good.
He's fantastic. I think my only criticism of Cuerno is maybe the gimmick needs a little bit of adjustment. It's not a bad gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it could be made even better, right?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, I feel like it could.
Because his wrestling is great.
Mm-hmm.
He just like
His finishers.
Of course, absolutely. His finishers are great. His dives are great. Just like Ciampa and Gargano, I haven't seen them put on a bad match yet.
No, neither have I.
Yes or no, could Kurt King Cuerno become a top drawing character in WWE?
I don't think so. Maybe he'd be IC champion.
For a day?
Yeah. Oh, that was painful. My heart was broken last night.
So let's not get too ahead of ourselves here.
No.
With the Cuerno character, I just want to say one more thing on it. If that's a character that WWE has any intention, we're on a real tangent here. If they have any intention of ever making that character marketable to a mass audience, they just need to make a little adjustment. He's Cuerno the Hunter. I think all they need to do to make him more appealing to a wider audience would just be to make him the hunter aspect of his character more obvious.
Yeah.
Like maybe if he wears camo or like has a crossbow or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, maybe.
Vince, don't actually do it just like that. Just
or maybe he could somehow have like a pelt in his wardrobe somehow.
like the stag head,
Yeah.
but different.
Well, yeah, except something he could actually wrestle in.
I got it. He would wear the pelt of a bear,
Yeah.
or maybe like a cougar. Either one would be fine.
That'd be cool. And he could have like the claws like
That's what I'm saying.
his
And,
hands.
like,
yeah.
and he can't do it in Lucha Underground because of Prince Puma.
Yeah.
But anywhere else he
obviously. so he's just gonna become WWE Prince Puma. Except, well, he'd be like a Puma hunter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the big game hunter, BGH.
Oh my god. Book it.
You know what? Surprisingly enough, that's pretty okay.
That's what every wrestler needs is like a good name and then a good like nickname.
They
for
all
the
have
wrestler.
it.
Yeah.
Well, for the most part. I'm just gonna throw at a bunch of wrestlers, just hit with their quick names.
Okay.
Austin.
Texas Rattlesnake.
That's kind of long.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
What's the quick name for saying?
Stone Cold?
That's right. What about Shawn Michaels?
HBK.
The Rock. that was a trick question. That was a trick question.
My God, it's The Rock.
But you're right. Gable and Jordan are two guys who established themselves with some name and drawing ability. I mean, all weekend we heard Gable and Jordan chants.
The boy had dreamed, though.
It came true, and I think that's part of the reason why. Gable and Jordan finally did it. They've defeated the Revival, and they've become the new NXT Tag Team Champions, and it couldn't have happened to a better tag team.
No. And that was honestly one of the best tag team matches I've seen in a very long time. Like, there's so many innovative spots, and even though there was a...
One glaring botch. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's not a big deal, guys, because it was a really good match and
Yeah.
we enjoyed it. It's totally
Other
fine.
than that, it was perfect.
Absolutely. Tremendous work from all four gentlemen. It was 10 out of 10. Did you see, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, Ty Dillinger tweeted Shinsuke Nakamura, like, welcome to WWE, I'm a perfect 10. And Shinsuke's reply was, I'm an 11.
Oh my goodness. Bodied.
Yeah.
He's burying him on Twitter before he even gets in the ring.
He's an established vet. He knows how this business works.
Yeah.
He's not going to be like, oh, you got me, Ty.
Got me good with that one.
You know who else got real good? Sami Zayn.
Sami
Zayn got real good with the newly christened Kinshasa,
Yes, he did.
the modified Bombier. Knee
Although
strike.
Shinsuke's nose got a little bit too.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But the King of Strong Style is not ever afraid to throw down.
No.
And he threw down with authority. Him and Sammy put on an extremely memorable match. It was about as good a match as I could have hoped for.
I feel like that, it basically stole the show.
Yeah, it did. You're right. The only other thing I can say about that is, well, two things. One, Sami Zayn had the 3 days of wrestler's lifetime.
Yeah, no kidding.
What more could you ask for in this life? Maybe a title? That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
The man got to put over Shinsuke and take over Dallas. He got to participate in the 7-man ladder match for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
Which I really thought he was going to go over.
A lot of people did. I did too. Didn't work out that way. But we'll get to that in just a second. And he also got to participate in a hot feud, in a world title feud on Raw.
Yeah, he did.
Way to go, Sammy. We're really proud of you. Okay. Yeah, KO, we're proud of you, obviously, as well.
And Tyler Breeze, even though he's been dropping a little bit, but
you know what?
our hometown heroes.
You know what? Tyler Breeze is a WWE superstar.
Yeah, he's making money. That's all that matters.
He's making actual $1 million moves.
Yeah.
So you know what, Tyler?
Like, unfortunately, PTP hasn't quite been able to lately.
The suspension's over soon, baby.
Oh yeah. Maybe that means a return. Eventually.
Well, I mean, yes, but since we're talking about it, is Titus gonna like have a Cesaro-like return? It's Titus O'Neil, and he's gonna be in like a number of contenders match against AJ Styles, or I can see in your eyes that that's not what you're thinking.
I don't think that's going to happen, especially not after a suspension where he was almost fired.
So, Jobby the Stardust?
I don't know. Maybe he'll just be...
Jobby the Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I could see it.
Actually, don't do that, Vince. Actually, no, that's going to kill Titus. Don't do that.
It is.
It's going to kill the guy.
I just want them to have, like, maybe not the strongest, tag team push, but just a little tag team push. PTP. $1 million moves.
Do something with Darren Young, for goodness sakes. He can draw money. He could, maybe not on top, but he can draw money. Get him on TV, for goodness sakes. He's a good wrestler.
Even when he jobbed out in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, he was still really entertaining.
Yeah, he was. He was very dynamic. Moved around the ring really well. Hit the ropes really hard. Sold us. Huh?
Lucha.
There was a little bit of lucha. A small amount on the Mania program. Just one other thing I want to talk about regarding TakeOver, big man, and that is, of course, the fact that the women's title has changed hands. And it could not have gone into the hands of a more fearsome, dominating competitor.
And it could not have gone in a more fearsome way.
No, it couldn't.
Choked out.
Bailey went to sleep.
Valley.
Poor Valley.
She's not waking up.
No. She woke up sometime later. She is still alive, from what I gather.
She's not foaming at the mouth like Finn Balor was from the Coquina Clutch.
Oh my God. Asuka put a beatdown on the former women's champion. An absolute beatdown. A beatdown the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen two women perform for us in WWE.
No.
I think now that Asuka is the champion, she has established that that's the standard of women's wrestling in NXT. And it could not have gone to a more deserving competitor, to a more skilled competitor. Who do you see as being her number one threat now? Is Bayley going to have the run back?
If not Bayley, then probably Nia Jax. Or maybe Alexa Bliss. If done right, I could see it doing well, but I could also see it going horribly.
With Blake and Murphy interferences?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they could be the, counteract to Eva Marie in some regard.
What do you mean?
Like, if they were having singles matches, Eva Marie would be interfering and they'd be the equalizer, basically.
That makes sense.
Although there's two of them, so.
But I right now see the Blake and Alexa Murphy factor being sort of like NXT's New Day.
Mm-hmm.
In that they just win with numbers and cheating and being silly.
Pretty much.
And lots of zooming in and out.
Yeah. And lots of seizures from their intro.
Yep, zooming in and out. Yep.
Flash.
It's to disorient their opponents. It works pretty good.
Yeah. I'm disoriented just thinking about it.
Now that we've established the women's title and the kind of landscape of NXT's women's division, and what do you foresee being the landscape of NXT's tag team division? Gable and Jordan on top right now. They're as dominant as Asuka is. As a team that don't really have any flaws that I can think of.
No, I don't really think they do either.
Cass and Enzo have now been moved up to WWE's main roster, right alongside Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin. So, is it safe to say they won't even get an NXT title run?
If they stay on the main roster, then I guess not. Which, I guess it doesn't really matter because they're on the main roster now, so good for them.
Hot feud with the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
It'll be better than watching the Dudleys and Usos feud.
Yeah, well,
which was kind of...
I'm thoroughly tired of that.
Yeah.
And the Usos got bodied.
Yeah.
They got, last night on Raw, Warren's talking about, last night on Raw, when we saw the most raucous, crazy, out-of-control crowd that WWE is able to put into a building on a yearly basis, lose their minds.
That was the hottest crowd I'd ever seen.
That TakeOver London crowd last year, though?
Yeah, that rivaled the London crowd.
The London crowd didn't stop singing the whole time.
You're right.
They were just nuts. They were completely nuts. Like to the point where like they're drowning out the announcers. It was outrageous. It was really cool, but the Dallas crowd was not quite on the level, and it wasn't quite on the level because this is the crowd that we saw go nuts for a beach ball, for Bailey who wasn't even there. We saw them sing Vince McMahon's song. We heard them say all sorts of crazy stuff, but they didn't make a sound when the Usos came out.
Nope. There's not much to really say about that.
There isn't, other than the fact that the Dudleys are now in a hot feud with Cass and Enzo.
Yeah, and that's the way it should stay for the foreseeable future. Because that was like one of the best exchanges I've seen in a while.
It was as good as New Day does.
Yeah.
Which is really saying something because it took New Day months to establish that.
Yeah.
Cass and Enzo just bang, here we are.
Main roster.
How you doing?
How you doing?
No Carmella with Jeff on string.
No. Maybe that means she's coming for the title?
Yes. Yes, it does mean that, I believe.
And then
Carmella will need to get significantly better at wrestling.
Yes.
But when she does, she's going to be the new NXT Women's Champion.
I wonder when they would move her up then. Because they are kind of like a...
Carmella?
Yeah, they are kind of like a 3-person act, so it'd kind of be sad to see Enzo and Cass on the main roster and her just still on NXT.
Well, fortunately...
Or maybe Baymill is going to make a debut on the main roster.
For that to happen, I think we need a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
Because there'd be just too many women otherwise.
You're right.
And not enough hardware to compete for. And now that there aren't any more divas, for the foreseeable future, there won't be any more like valets or managers or, dare I say it, the Lana type character.
No.
Who's just there basically to look pretty. So, unless you're like a AAA plus wrestler, you're just not even going to get a chance as a female.
No.
So now let's talk about that for a second, and worth discussing. So the bars are raised so high that you have to be a phenomenal, talented athlete to even get a shot to be in front of the camera in WWE as a woman. Is that exclusive vision, or is that appropriate?
I mean, to be fair, I feel like it's kind of the same way for the men to some degree.
Yeah.
I mean, Roman, but that's...
Oh, wow. You brilliantly made an incredibly good point and then just countered the hell out of your point in one sentence.
Yeah, I did.
Some verbal sword
But I mean...
on yourself.
I mean, I feel like he's the one exception to that rule, because for the most part, like Cesaro, I mean, other than last night, obviously, he had a tremendous match, but before that, he was jobbing the Big Show.
Yep.
He was jobbing everyone, basically.
He's putting Seth Rollins over a lot.
Yeah.
We laugh, but then again, I guess Seth Rollins is going to beat somebody. He's the world champion.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah.
He was double belting. Nobody would stop him.
Mm-mm. Just like nobody's apparently going to be stopping the Roman Reigns now.
No. Except for certain...
I don't think we can hold it off any longer, man. We got to talk about WrestleMania from now on.
A certain rookie red.
He's a Mack truck, man.
Don't get run over, Roman.
He's going to get run over.
Don't get run over.
He will. He's a country boy. He's been putting in overtime for weeks.
Is he gonna Superman punch the Mack truck?
He will Superman punch the Mack truck. He's gonna put a crack in the engine block.
But it's not gonna be enough. It's gonna keep going.
It will.
It's gonna run him over.
It will, on momentum alone. Those Mack trucks are heavy.
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Let's quickly go through the card. Match number 1. It was the Intercontinental 7-person ladder match. And the outcome was that Zack Ryder, the Long Island...
Zack Daddy.
The Long Island Iced D, the Big Z, came out on top. I think it was...
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was out of nowhere, yes, and I think it was appropriate. It was a really good ladder match. Stardust, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, The Miz. Was Dolph in there? I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. Zack and... Who's the 7th person? Oh, Sin Cara.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all put on a really, really good match to start the show. The crowd was hot. They got everybody into the action. and I felt an emotional reaction when Zach won. I think it was the right thing to do.
I also felt an emotional reaction when he hit the elbow drop off the top of the ladder.
It looked excellent.
Yeah.
And I think it's appropriate. We might as well just correlate WrestleMania's result directly into Raw.
Might as well.
The following night, Ryder defended his Intercontinental title for the first and only time against The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
With the help of his wife, Maryse, Miz was able to bury both Zack Ryder and his dad in tremendously embarrassing fashion.
Yeah, and it, as I said earlier in the program, it broke my heart.
Mine too. Mine too.
But hopefully, he'll make a comeback.
Better. Or else Vince is more cruel than I ever give him credit for.
I mean, we have seen some pretty cruel things. Like The Rock dogging on Lana.
Yes. The further away I get from that, I realize, like, what the hell? They let that happen? They let that happen? Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing now in retrospect.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about The Rock in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The next match on the WrestleMania's card, it was AJ and Jericho.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly enough resulted in Styles losing.
Yeah, surprising.
Nobody saw that coming. But did anybody see what happened on Raw the following night coming?
Hell no.
The following night on Raw, AJ wound up in a Fatal 4-Way match for the #1 contendership for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Against, as it was announced, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Chris Jericho. Mm-hmm. But Sami got into an altercation with Kevin, which resulted in an injury, which I initially thought was real. Yeah, I thought it was real, but it wasn't at all real.
Thank God.
Thank God. And
thank Vince.
Yeah,
Based Vince.
yeah. And then Based Vince gets the Swiss Superman, Cesaro, to come back.
Looking like motherfucking James Bond.
Absolutely. Rips the suit off, heads to the ring, and puts in a tremendous match. Puts AJ over.
My favorite spot of that match was when Cesaro had the guys in each of the three corners.
Uppercutting them all?
To all three of them, and then hit them all with uppercuts.
The crowd was going bananas.
I was going bananas at home watching that. 10 out of 10. Cesaro.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Swiss Superman.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, AJ went over. So he goes from losing embarrassing to Chris Jericho at Mania to
having a title shot.
Styles
World
Clash.
Title shot.
And he beat Jericho with the Styles Clash.
Oh my god.
That's like maybe that's what Chris Jericho was kind of hoping the payoff would be for like the whole angle.
Yeah.
It's like he gets to put Styles over in like a really, really meaningful match.
Yeah, and I mean, he ended up. He looked good at Mania. Well, I mean, they both did, obviously, and it got a lot of heat on Jericho too, which he's a heel now, so that's what he wants.
Yep.
And overall, it's a win-win for both superstars, I'd say.
I agree strongly. Talking about a win-win situation, the next match on the WrestleMania card was the Beast Brock Lesnar facing off against the Crazy Man, WWE's Iron Man, the Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose.
Yes, and Ambrose, with his litany of weapons, chainsaws, and guns, was not
absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was not able to defeat Lesnar. He got bodied pretty quickly, and was F5'd tremendously hard onto a stack of chairs for 1, 2, 3. So hard, in fact, that we didn't even really see Dean.
No. And it was disappointing to me as a lunatic of the Ambrose Asylum, but it was to be expected because Brock's a beast. And you knew he was going to use those weapons against Dean, although he didn't. But
did Brock use any weapons?
No, he just broke the kendo sticks and just beat the dog shit out of Dean.
Yep, sure did.
Suplexed him
13 times?
Yeah, 13 times. My neck.
That's all he needed, yeah. And now Brock will presumably go back to doing Brock things, which is, of course, chilling at home and making millions of dollars.
Yeah. Eating Jimmy John's.
And drinking Budweiser because Coors don't pay him shit?
Yeah.
That's right.
And climbing on his wife.
Hey, don't talk about Sable like that. I don't care what he said.
Well, only he gets to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brock's going to run here and see at any time. Talking about a run-in, the next match of the night was, on WrestleMania's card was the League of Nations facing off against the New Day. Or should I say, the Ginyu Force.
Oh my goodness.
Coming out in their Dragon Ball Z attire. Michael Cole. What are you talking about, John? That's Xavier dressed as Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. Of course I know what that is.
Oh, that was almost as painful as Michael Cole saying Dos Caras.
Alberto Del Rio, of course, the son of the great Dos Caras Jr., one of Mexico's greatest wrestlers.
Oh,
Mago.
Michael Cole.
Mago.
He's like a really embarrassing dad.
He really is. And just like he does on Monday Night Raw, he's totally derailed this show as well. Let's not talk about Michael. Let's League of Nations and New Day were in a match. Was it a battle for supremacy?
Yeah, basically.
What does it mean?
I don't know, but I don't even really see what it was trying to accomplish, because it's like, of course you're superior. You had, well, I mean, I guess it was a 3-on-3 technically, but they still had 4 guys and you only had 3, so I don't really know what they were trying to accomplish.
You know, what did they accomplish? Like, well,
I guess maybe they were hoping for the titles, and then, like, for title change, and then with the news of Barrett leaving, they were like, oh shit, we can't do that, so...
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Maybe that's what it was anyways.
Could be. That's a good enough as reason as any, because, as the big man alluded to, the following night on Raw...
My heart was broken again the same night, and King Barrett took a brogue kick.
Betrayed by the lads.
Yeah. They eliminated, as Sheamus put it, their weakest link.
Sent him packing. Barrett doesn't seem too upset.
No.
But the fact is that now...
It had to be done, and I saw it coming, but it made me sad because I liked the king of bad news.
The British Bullhammer, no hope, no more in WWE.
No.
And now that the
But
league...
hopefully he'll be on to bigger and better things.
He should become a commentator.
Yes.
Or an actor or something. He's a cool guy.
Mm. Or maybe wrestle for another promotion? I don't know.
Lucha Underground.
Yeah. The British Bullhammer. Or is that trademark? I don't know.
I don't think so. Just because they put it on a shirt. Oh, it's on a shirt. It's trademark. Is that how that works?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they can't really trademark finishers, can they?
I think they probably... I think the, like, Stone Cold Stunner.
Well, yeah,
probably trademark.
yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that at all. Otherwise, like, Matt Striker on Lucha Underground is just like...
Granted,
Matt hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner.
Granted, you could have the same finisher and call it like 3 different things.
Actually, now that I think about it, the finishers' names are protected because when the Dudley Boys left WWE and went to TNA, they couldn't use the term Dudley Boys. They had to be called Team 3D, and they couldn't call their finishing move they couldn't. Or anyway, the point I don't disregard that. But somehow, some way, I do know that the finishers and the names of the wrestlers are protected for sure by the company if they go through the trouble of protecting them. Which is why there's only one The Rock and one that's so close to.
But I wonder if they would care that much about Barrett to go after him. I feel like they could probably get away with changing the name though. Just, I don't know, the Queen's Hammer or something like that. Like something they could come up.
That'd
with
be
anything.
Okay, this is probably what would happen. This is my thinking. If he goes to Lucha Underground and say, for example, the people at LU say,
we're just pushing him for Lucha Underground. Do it.
They need some British flavor.
Yeah. I think it'd be a good choice.
I think it'd be awesome. Yeah, he'd be like basically the new Alberto.
Yeah.
Just for he's
They meet up again in Lucha Underground if Alberto goes back.
Barrett El Patron. You know what El Patron means? It means I'm the boss.
See.
There's actually a...
Well, I guess he could do that, but like to his elbow before.
Just actually say yes.
Yo, British Daniel Bryan of Lucha Underground.
I think if we talk about this anymore, we're gonna just get sued, or at the very least, we're gonna serve the papers.
Yeah.
This is talking.
Just stop. It's too bad. Cease and desist.
HBK, Mankind, and Stone Cold coming out, dancing with New Day briefly. Stone Cold ringing up some stunners, and in my honest personal opinion, that maybe once a year is enough to show those guys. I don't think we need to see those guys again for a while.
No, I think that was perfect.
For sure.
The Rock, I don't know if what he did was as spectacular, in my opinion, anyways.
That was the next thing that happened.
Yeah, it was.
Take the children through what happened.
So basically, The Rock comes out, he, insane cheers, because it's The Rock, obviously. He comes out with a flamethrower and lights a giant sign of The Rock up in flames. Comes into the ring, just does usual Rock things. The Rock has come back to WrestleMania. And then the Wyatts show up.
I think he actually said has come back to Dallas and he faked out everybody.
Oh, yeah.
He faked me out because I said WrestleMania.
Well, didn't he say, I thought he said both.
Dallas and WrestleMania. I don't know.
I think so. I don't know. But either way, it's not that important. What is important is the Wyatts showed up like right after. And The Rock had him, well, The Rock and Bray Wyatt ended up having a little bit of a confrontation.
Yep.
Oh man, I wish I could remember The Rock's line right now, but he had a really good line to Bray Wyatt. It's not coming to me. But either way, it led to a confrontation. The Rock had a match with Eric Rowan, if you could even call it a match. He hit him
The
with
bell rang.
The bell rang. He hit him with a rock bottom. 1, 2, 3. Bell rings again. That was it.
Yep. Did Rowan get any offense?
Nope. He literally just took a rock bottom.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Wyatt family obviously not too happy about that. They surround the ring in usual Wyatt family fashion. And then John Cena returns just to defend The Rock. And then the Wyatt family just kind of backed off, and that was it.
Fortunately, the Wyatt family were able to redeem themselves, at least to some regard, the following night on Raw. When they came out and they confronted the now 3-person League of Nations. As soon as Barrett was out of the picture, they appeared, got in their faces.
They attacked.
And the crowd responded very favorably, thanking the Wyatts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thanking them as well, because finally we have a feud for the Wyatts where all 3 members have a meaningful opponent of some kind. It's not silly, and the people they're going to be facing against, they'll actually be able to cut good promos on each other.
Yeah, they will.
So
I think it's a good fit for both of them.
I agree with you. What happened next time, maybe? After the Wyatts Rock John Cena thing? If I'm not mistaken, it was that then we saw the unveiling of the Women's Championship, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then it was the triple threat.
Yes, which was an excellent match. It was my personal favorite match from WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
It was a match that was about 20 or so minutes. All 3 women got in plenty of awesome spots. They hardly messed up at all.
No.
Lots of drama. We both thought Sasha was going to win, but she didn't, unfortunately.
No.
Charlotte wound up going on top. And
I wasn't too happy with the finish, but that's my opinion. I'm glad to have it.
Charlotte actually did a really good spear, though.
Yeah, she did. She did. But I'm just sick of the Ric Flair interferences.
And then the following night on Raw, when we got the television debut of the Women's Championship, and Charlotte was out there talking about how proud and happy she is, Ric Flair was dominating the screen. I'm thinking to myself, this is the Women's Championship, and there's Rick?
Yeah, I know. It was alright that he was there for the match and everything, but I don't know. I mean, in the end, when Charlotte started going more towards her character and being like, oh, thanks, Daddy, for winning me the championship, then it made sense as to why he was there. But yeah, before that, he was kind of dominating the screen.
I guess they're just trying to strongly establish that she's a heel, even though I have to be honest.
I feel like she's already enough established that she's a heel. I don't know if she really needs her daddy's push anymore. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what you think.
My personal feeling on that, I agree with what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to being a heel, the fact that you're a heel should be absolutely evident. Like Undertaker, for example.
Yeah, you're right.
You look at Undertaker and people tell you he looks like a villain.
Yeah, you're right.
When you look at Charlotte, it's not obvious.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
Do you think maybe she should change her look or something to make her more obvious, or maybe she doesn't need to be more obvious.
Well, I feel like even lately, she has gotten a little bit better at just, her facial expressions and the way she carries herself. And it has, given off more of a heel vibe.
Yeah.
I think she just needs to work on that a little more.
But what about to make her more overtly heelish, to the point where a person sees her for the first time, it's obvious?
Maybe a more over-the-top costume like Ric Flair, like the robe that she had on at Mania type thing. Maybe.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the answer for sure. So regardless, great match. The women put on a really good show. The title is in good hands, I think.
Becky was looking a little battered the next night.
Yep, she was a little banged up. She had a cut on her eye. Looking fierce like the Irish warrior she is.
She was looking really tough, getting all up in Charlotte's face when Charlotte was going on about how she's so great, too.
Really, for sure. And the conclusion of that match led to Shane and Taker.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with Shane and Taker?
Well, it was, for the most part, it was pretty much everything we expected.
Yeah.
They were just beating the tar out of each other. Shane eventually went up onto the top of the cage, but he didn't hit the elbow drop. Undertaker moved at the last second, so Shane went right off the top of the cage into the table.
Yep.
In front of his entire family.
Yeah, it was pretty much right in front of his children.
Yep, his children and his wife.
No problem.
Yeah. But he's okay.
He's completely fine because we saw Shane fall down.
Yeah.
But he lost to Taker.
Yeah, he did. He did lose to Taker. But on Raw, Vince was gracious enough to let Shane have control of the entire Raw. Just for that one night. As they kept reminding us, this is only temporary. It's only temporary, guys.
Well,
Wink, wink.
it should be provisional at the very least because that was one of the best Raws we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not ever, but it was certainly...
Who knows, maybe it'll just be temporary and then it's like, oh wait, that was actually like incredible. Can you do that again?
Back to 10-minute Roman Reigns promo to start the show, and then 6-man tag match to end the night.
Or 10-minute Roman Reigns promo, and then 10-minute Triple H promo, and then 10-minute Stephanie McMahon promo.
And then Stardust versus Titus O'Neil match.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have Ascension versus Usos. I'll stop. I'm sorry.
And then Paige is going to job to Nikki Bella again.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then we'll have a backstage interview with Fandango.
Yeah.
And then the social outcasts will come out, and they'll go over the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Tatanka's gonna make a debut.
That was the next thing we saw on the WrestleMania card, the Under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or quite simply the most ridiculous thing we've seen in WWE all year. And this is a show that we talk ad nauseum about all the ridiculous stuff we see, but somehow, some way, as Mike Johnson from Pro Wrestling Insider said it best, they pulled Tatanka out of mothballs from who knows where.
Basically.
He was in a crate in the WWE. Open up the crate.
He was in that warehouse in Indiana Jones being inspected by top men.
Top men, right beside the Ark of the Covenant. And they blow the dust off the Tatanka. It's time. Send him out there.
Oh my goodness.
Against Shaq. Did you think if I told you at the beginning of the night that Tatanka and Shaq were going to be in a match? Tatanka and Shaq are going to be in a match. And Baron Corbin's going to go over.
I wouldn't even know what to think about that.
But that's what happened.
But it happened. Yeah. And it was great.
Yeah, it was.
Baron Corbin out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Baron Corbin becoming the third recipient of the Under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then the following night on Raw, when he made his debut on television, he faced off against the show-off Dolph Ziggler, as I incorrectly pointed out earlier in the show. And in his match against Dolph, unlike Prince Pretty, who also made his debut against Dolph some months earlier, the Lone Wolf did not get the victory.
No. It was a double countout?
That's right. It was double count out because he got preoccupied. That was the story.
Yeah.
It established that he's very mean and fierce. He hit Dolphin end of days in the concrete. But it also established that he's just, I guess, not as clever as Tyler Breeze.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be that, or a combination of, oh, he's just such a mean heel that he's just blind with rage, just beating him. Could be that. Either or.
Either or. I thought he made a pretty good debut, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen KO kind of do the same thing sometimes.
Yes, that's true. Excellent. Following that, well, actually, really quickly before we go any further, we might as well talk about Tyler Breeze and the fact that he had a match on Raw last night, and his match was against the debuting Apollo Crews. And in this match, it was really short. It was less than 5 minutes, I thought. Apollo Crews just tossing Prince pretty around.
It was pretty much what we've seen before on NXT.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
But it was still a good debut for Apollo Crews. Maybe they just went the safe route. I don't know. I don't know if that was their line of thinking. Like, you know, they know this matchup works well and they've done it before, so they just had that as just a debut match, just to kind of get his feet wet. I don't know if that actually was their line of thinking.
No, that makes sense. Of course, we don't know, but no,
yeah.
that makes sense to me for sure. So yeah, Apollo goes over, looks really good. About the only other match from WrestleMania or Raw that Warren's talking about was, of course, the main event.
Mm-hmm.
The outcome was unfortunately exactly what we expected.
Basically.
And the fallout the following night on Raw, Roman Reigns becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Championship once again. The fallout from Raw, what everybody was expecting for the most part, was for him to, in some way, change his character and to naturally evolve into what the fans want him to evolve into. Respond finally to all the negative reactions he seems to get everywhere he goes around the world. The result was, I think we can agree on this, it was certainly a changed Roman, but not explicitly a heel yet.
No. I feel like, as we talked about, before the show, Roman kind of said in his promo basically his own problem, that he's not a good guy, he's not a bad guy, but he is the guy, which I don't know if he really is. I mean, he is right now, obviously, because he's the world champion.
He was the guy getting booed really hard or something.
Yeah. And getting booed really hard through the entire main event.
I wonder if Triple H has had any meetings about that.
Even getting Sami Zayn chants during the main event as well.
Absolutely, the Ole 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 chants.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm sure he was thrilled with that.
Yep, I'm sure they were both pretty thrilled.
Yeah, you're right about that. So once again, we find Roman on top, but this time behaving a little bit differently. His cousins, the Usos, not getting any reaction. Dean Ambrose nowhere to be found. And now AJ Styles is poised to become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Mm-hmm. The Rock Dynasty is in shambles.
It is. Sadly it is, but I guess all empires finally come to an end, even the Roman one.
Also, just a little side note, Roman may be the guy, but Seth Rollins is the man!
Undoubtedly. They're all just keeping the title warm.
Yeah. He's coming back for his title that he never lost.
Believe it.
He didn't lose it. And he's coming.
I think that's a perfect segue into a rapid fire segment of the show. I only have 3 questions for you tonight, and they're going to come really fast.
All right.
The first question is about the man, Seth Rollins.
Yep.
Now that John Cena is back, Cesaro is back, are you still confident that it's going to be around Money in the Bank for his return? Or is he going to somehow, some way return even sooner, just like Cesaro and John?
I mean, I feel like they could do it sooner. I'm not really sure when, but I think Money in the Bank is like the time when it would be just perfect for him to come back. At least in my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are on the situation.
Whenever he's ready is the answer.
Yeah, pretty
Whenever
much.
he's ready. Yeah. Question number 2. Word association. I'm going to say a phrase, and I want you to say the first word that pops in your mind, okay?
Okay.
WWE United States title.
I mean, first thing that comes to mind is just
In a word.
in a word. Oh
I know the word I would use. You tell me.
man. Stale, stagnant.
Stale or stagnant. I would use the word diminished.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That works too.
that I agree with both of those words.
It is
as well.
kind of stagnant right now, though. Like,
Certainly.
not really much happening there. Was there even a U.S. title match at Mania?
Pre-show.
Pre-show? Okay.
Kalisto retains.
Okay.
And that's all we're going to say about it. Thanks, Vince.
Yeah.
The third and final question I have for you right now is something we've been talking about a lot on the show, but since we saw so many different debuts and unveilings last night, I was very surprised we didn't see this particular. AJ Styles is now the #1 contender.
Mhm.
Is this going to somehow play into the inevitable debut of the Bullet Club?
I think so. Maybe. I mean, it could happen. What I'm thinking is maybe AJ has some sort of heel turn and then the Balor Club shows up and he joins up with them. That could be a possibility. I mean, there's many different ways they could do it.
AJ versus Finn in a stomp on my chest match?
Yeah.
And that's all the time we have tonight for the program. We'd like to thank WWE for putting on WrestleMania once again. Tremendous show. We'd like to thank.
Although, I mean, just gonna be honest, Takeover was kind of better than Mania, which was a little unfortunate. But, I mean, that's the way it goes. I feel like it was kind of difficult because they had so many injuries and just like so many things just coming out of nowhere.
Certainly.
But who knows? There's a lot of new talent, people coming back from injuries, people moving up to the main roster. Seems like this year's going to be a lot better for WWE.
So it's starting with a bang, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
With the debut of AJ at Royal Rumble and now a very eventful Mania weekend. Thank you again, once again, to the McMahon family, Paul Heyman, and everybody who watched the show.
Cool.
And I'd also like to take this opportunity to quickly thank Camosun College. We've been shooting on location at Camosun College for
Quite a few times.
quite some time now, and we're very, very appreciative
Yeah.
of the facilities.
They got these sweet buildings.
And we'll be back to provide you with some more sweet content next week on the program. Thanks for watching.